Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Faithful to the Traitors. Yes, that music played sooner than I thought it was going to play. It's like I was on live TV then, being counted in. I am Ben. I am Faithful. And I'm also the co-host of Faithful to the Traitors.
Just to make sure people know.
That's how faithful we are.
That's how
we're
we roll.
Faithful. Even to the traitors, we're faithful.
Yeah. My name's Alex.
Many traitors of New Zealand.
There's so many. Do you know, you joke. I was thinking that just earlier. I was thinking, like, how many traitors
how many is there going to be?
There's been 5 so far.
Do you think that's what? Spoiler. Oh, what? Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to just say hello. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm also a faithful, despite what people say.
Spoiler for the last 10 or 2 seconds of the episode. The knock on the door. Do you think that's Paul saying, "There's no more traitors. You can't. You two are the final traitors.
Stop.
You can't have any more because it's just too many. There's going to be too many." Maybe that's what he's going to say.
I mean, we're pitching this quickly and early.
Well, it just came to my head when you said that, so I thought I'd say.
I'd like to talk about that actually. First of all, will it be Paul who walks in?
I
hope
no
it is.
Cane. Was there a cane noise on the
I heard a slosh of some wine, so I reckon it's Paul.
From his stomach or the wine glass or both?
Ooh.
No, you know when you drink too... No.
The claws are out.
No, when you drink too much drink, you can hear it sloshing in your belly, can't you? Have you ever done that?
What,
you
like a
jump
whale?
up and down and you can hear it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's what I
if
meant.
you've not eaten, then there's like water in your tummy. Your tummy? What am I, 8? My tummy? Yes, well, maybe. I hope it's Paul, because only last episode I said, oh, they never have the presenters in Traitor Towers. Only the UK did it. And then, again, the New Zealand series seems to defy. Everything we say, they do it. I'm sure they're re-editing it as we broadcast this podcast.
Yes,
we have that much power. Aye.
Welcome to my back paddock.
That's maybe what he was introducing them to.
Possibly.
His back paddock. Mm-hmm. Again, Camp Paul. Just gets camper and camper.
Camp Paul.
Well, it could be that, or it could be that they have to get one more traitor, and that they have to accept. So there's no option.
We'll discuss all the options maybe later in the episode.
Oh, okay. I thought we were discussing it now, but that's fine.
No.
That's
fine. Keep people going.
On their toes. You know what, though? If people have theories or ideas or just want to generally say hello to us on the podcast, then please get in touch. You can get in touch with us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Traitors Podcast. You can get us on Instagram at Faithful to the Traitors. You can email us faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, and like Paul's stomach with liquid, you've got some pockets that jangle when you walk along and you thought, you know what, I've got too much money. I just want to give it to a podcast that I love listening to. Then you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. But if you can't afford...
The price of a coffee.
Price of a gold bar.
Silver bar,
$5. Or you can just let people know about the podcast by just following us on Apple, Spotify, any of your favorite podcast apps, and sharing us. Share us with the world. Tell your friends. Tell your friends' friends.
RJ Stack did exactly that and got in touch with us.
Oh, that's nice.
On Twitter.
X.
And these are the type of messages that I approve of and are very good. Because the first sentence, I agree with Ben.
Of course they are.
I'm Ben, just in case anyone's wondering. So that's the type of messages that we like to receive.
Is that it? Is that the message?
No, I'm just letting people know if they are going to message, having an introduction like that will mean that you will more likely get read out on the podcast. The fact that players know each other detracts from the game, making it a bit easier, and also sets up a weird dynamic with the players who aren't media types. For example, Robbie is a victim of this. Remember when Brooke was saying that he didn't understand why she was there because she was just a hairdresser? So it is a danger of both being classist and misogynist. Still enjoying it though, and your commentary throughout is hilarious.
Thank you.
But yeah, so someone agrees with me, of course. They all do know each other.
If people agree with you, that was a topic we had a couple of episodes ago.
I know, but
I mean, the tweeter, the Xer, what do you say nowadays?
Tweeter.
The tweeter. They're right in the sense that, you know, we've had this is an age-old debate whether they should have celebrities and non-celebrities mixed together. I just feel like the New Zealand version, it's like they're one of the same thing anyway.
Yeah, but it is unfair. Poor, look at Robbie. Look at the ride she's had. Her and Vanda.
In his paddock.
Her and Vanda have had a tough time because they're both non-celebrities. So they've been picked on more easy. It's much more easy to pick on them. So...
Is it because they're non-celebrities or is it because they're female?
Both.
But the thing is, I would say, is that Robbie was a bit silly because she should never...
Should we talk about that then, shall we?
Yeah, she should never... what did she think was going to happen? What did she honestly think was going to happen when she was offered to be a traitor?
I mean, she did say she got the offer of a lifetime in the night, slipped under her blanket.
Back paddock.
Welcome to my back paddock.
That's what Paul knocked on the door. Robbie opened the door, and then Paul said, "Welcome to my back paddock."
I'd be a fool to say no. Yes, she got the letter to say, "Do you want to become a traitor?" But she did say, I think she knew she was going next episode because she did say something along the lines of, "I can either stand up there and say I'm a traitor, or stand up there and say I'm a faithful." So I think she knew she was going. I don't think she played the best game she could have. I was holding out for her right into the end for her to do something epic and really like clever special gameplay moves. Is that a word? Gameplay moves?
Yeah.
I was expecting something and she didn't deliver for me.
But she walked in, when she walked into the tower and Dan and Brooke revealed themselves, and the first thing she said to them was, "I've been born in to be banished, haven't I?" And they both just went, "Yeah." It's like,
I know, they cut away from that. They didn't show us their answer. How did they...
Well, it would just been an awkward, like,
no, of course not.
No.
Tap her on the head. Woman.
Yeah, woman. Go make us our pancakes.
You should be
for
thankful
breakfast.
we didn't murder you, woman.
Oh, thank you, Master. Thank you. I'll make you a nice cup of tea. Yes, I will.
I mean, for next episode, there's 3 people they might murder. 2 of them women, 1 man. I've already crossed out the man. He's just not going to get murdered, whoever he was. I can't remember who he was. So it's going to be between the 2 women. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Dylan's the strongest because
he's a
Dylan's
man.
the one throwing out the accusations.
No. The evil traitors. The evil Brooke and Dan.
The misogynistic. They should just call it the misogynistics.
The evil poker players.
Yeah.
No. They're going to get rid of one of the women, obviously.
How dare
We'll
they?
find that out next week anyway.
But I mean, I love Robbie, and I was all support with Robbie, and hairdresser, and she was doing it for her kids, and a single
Just a
mum who's
mum.
got 2 jobs,
yeah,
and she she played. I felt like she played an honest game, and I think that she would have been not respected. That's the wrong term, but I think she would have exited better if she had kept to her word and stayed as a faithful.
Yeah.
I think she was, even if she knew she was going to be banished, she should have been banished as a faithful. And also, I think she would have played. The only thing that benefited from this is that the way she exited. First of all, though, she voted wrong again.
I know,
why
there's
the
so many
hell
things
did she
that
do
she
that?
could have done better.
I know she should never
as
have
a
voted.
traitor, as a last-minute traitor who knew she was being backstabbed. She could have planted
A name.
suspicion with Dan and Brooke throughout the day if she was sure early on. Around the round table, she could have done a lot more things to put point suspect. And she voted Julia. And I think,
Yeah.
why? That doesn't help anyone.
You should have done, but I mean, she made up for it later when she gave the death stare to.
Yeah, but even that, I don't know if people really recognised it.
No, well, we'll talk about it, but no, it was spotted.
Yeah,
it was
I know,
spotted by a
but
couple of
I
people,
wanted a bit
including the other traitor.
I wanted more.
Well, we all
Robbie.
wanted more, but Robbie came in though with, but guns blazing, because when they got to the breakfast table, everyone said like, "Oh, she's more talkative than she's ever been. She's really threatening."
Someone said someone's been seduced in the night under Paul's roof, and she's like, "Oh, who was it? Who is everyone going to admit?" And she was like, "I am." She put her hand up. "I'm a traitor." Ha ha ha. Ate a bit of toast and with butter, and everyone laughed at her and said, "Oh, you're so funny, Robbie."
Well, she put her hand
Not
up and
a
said,
traitor
"Can you
at
pass
all."
me the coffee pot?" So it was a joke that if she said, it's the same
Double
thing.
bluff.
It was a double bluff. This is the thing. I feel like she could have played it better. I think that it wasn't inevitable she would have been banished. I just feel like that she
gave up.
She gave up. She knew, like, she became a traitor and just gave up, which is a really odd thing to do. I don't know. I mean,
there's much more she could have done. If she knew she was going, there's more she could have done to go out in a blaze of, revenge glory, which she could have done. Maybe she's not very vengeful.
Maybe.
Maybe she wants those. Maybe she wants the traitors to win because she doesn't like the faithfuls because they got rid of her.
She just wants the followers on Instagram, doesn't she? For her hairdresser.
Her before and afters.
Dylan spotted and figured out quite rightly that there are 3 traitors now. So their plan,
an issue.
Well, the plan that they thought that they could kind of manipulate the numbers hasn't worked for them. So people still know then after a traitor got evicted that there will still be 2 around.
Evicted? This isn't Big Brother.
So banished.
Thank you.
Banished from the show. And Dan, this is when Dan first noticed that Dylan was a risk. Dylan also noticed...
Dylan is a risk.
Well, Dylan also noticed that that Brooke was he in the car coming back from the game kept going on and on and on about how traitors.
Welcome to my back paddock.
How Brooke kept going on and on and on about if you were a traitor, you would deliberately try to rally the troops up and get people to vote for one person. And Dylan said, "Well, that's exactly what you're doing right now. So that by your own logic, Brooke, you're a traitor."
Brooke is in deep trouble, but he is a man, so he has that sway for the murder night.
That's true.
But I mean, he's clocking how many there are, Dan and Brooke.
Yeah, but he's got both of them in his sights, and Dan and Brooke are both aware that they are both in his sights. So you saying that, I'm striked Dylan from... I would be sad if Dylan left, because I really like Dan's logic. Dylan's logic. He is. His logic is not flawed. Like, he's not just shooting fish in a barrel. There is ideas behind it. And then at the banishment as well, he was the one who stood up and said, I'm not going to vote for... Because a lot of people were going to go toward Kings. And he said, I'm not going to vote for Kings because it's not good enough to say, I just think he'll be a good traitor. Where there's evidence where other people could be traitors, to just think they might be a good traitor isn't good enough for Dylan.
Yeah, it was a bit weird that they were all going for Kings on this episode, because it's kind of like...
Anna started it.
I know, but they didn't really have anything. They were just like, I just feel like... They were basically being like, well, that would be clever if the producers do that, so he's a traitor. And it's like, well, there's nothing to go on. So they're all kind of... I do get what they mean, because Kings is like... I wouldn't have minded if he went this episode.
Well, I wonder what's brought it on.
He doesn't seem to
from
play
Anna.
much or do much. Or...
Anna seems to see something there that everyone else
from the
doesn't
beginning.
Quite figure. Yeah, Anna seems to see something in Kings that no one else seems to have twigged.
Well, it's just trying to find someone, I think. And that's the one that they've landed on. Because for a little bit, they were all on Julia for a bit, weren't they? And that seems to have disappeared. Julia doesn't really do much either. She's quite quiet. And so is Kings.
It's because they were quiet, isn't it? Julia and Kings have both
Sam
been quiet.
just loves everyone, trusts everyone.
It's like I always say, you shouldn't go too quiet. Everyone loves Sam. I don't think. I think everyone thinks that Sam couldn't be a traitor.
No.
Like, even watching the show, like I know he's not a traitor, but like I couldn't ever imagine him being a traitor.
No.
You know that? It's like he just couldn't. He's just too nice. And the fact that the way he lost his temper was like nothing compared to like how other people could lose. Like the way Brooke like retaliated against Sam was like a much more heightened way of losing your patience than the way Sam was. Sam was just a bit like, well, you did something wrong and it wasn't very nice. And Brooke's like, how dare you say that? No one agreed to your idea. And you know what I mean? So Sam's too nice. That's not a criticism, Sam. We love you, Sam, because of it.
Sam, your team only correctly identified 2 items, but you spotted them both, and you are legally blind.
I love that clip so much. It's such a good clip.
It's a good one. It's long, but it feels good.
It feels good. Like the back paddock.
Welcome to my back paddock.
Exactly. So should we talk about the game then? Because there was the sheep game.
This was the best. This is the worst game on every version.
I like this game, and I don't know why you don't like it. I think it's a fun game.
I think this was the best version of the sheep game out of the 3 versions I've seen with this game in.
I like this game.
Because this one, they had to do rosettes and put them on pictures, which they don't normally do.
Didn't they?
No, they used to have to like get the sheep, didn't they? And like put it towards them or something.
No,
they used to have to physically get the sheep, I think.
I don't know.
Don't they? I don't normally pay attention to this game because it's stupid.
I don't remember, but I don't think they deviated from the rules at all. I think
it was
they had
different.
teams, which was the same as well.
Okay.
I think the only difference was they didn't play it at the same time. I think they had to play it different. They had to look for different sheep.
It's very health and safety conscious, this game. I feel like it's not very safe.
Those sheep are running around everywhere.
No, they're so sweet, aren't they? Bless them.
They were all they wanted was a bit of grass, and they had their nice afternoon disturbed by Paul. sitting on his tractor.
There wasn't a pool sheep.
No, there were 4 traitor sheep.
There were, which were but pointless because
It said traitor 1, traitor 2.
There wasn't a traitor thing to pin a thing on,
No,
so they couldn't have
it's
been
more of a distraction.
to confuse.
Was Paul legally allowed to drive that tractor?
It's his private land. He can do what he wants.
So he can drink and drive and... sorry, I'm not... Of course,
the bodies are hidden.
The bodies are hidden. I love the way he drove away as well. Like, he drove like a few feet out of the shot. It's like, and everyone just kind of watched him drive off. Good old Paul.
Yes, yeah, they had to match sheep pictures to the sheep in real life.
Mm-hmm.
What can we talk about this anymore? Is there a way to expand on this conversation? They won lots of money.
They won 7,500, which
Yeah.
brings their prize pot up to 29,100 New Zealand dollar.
Dylan got annoyed that he was pointing at himself saying me, but it was Dan the thing he didn't understand. But it's like, why don't you just walk to them and tell them and then whisper? If everyone else is still running around looking for sheep, why don't you just walk over to the 2 people and say, it's me, Dylan.
Yeah, because then they would have got a point.
Click.
Dylan, ring the bell.
Are you not allowed to run towards your teammates? What's going on?
No,
they
he
were all
was.
shouting it, and like the second someone shouted, everyone else ran there and be like, "We know who it is." So it's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, and when they shouted the answer to Anna in the first round,
I have the loudest voice and everyone hears it, so I'm going to shout out the answer.
It's me!
And then everyone turns around, even the sheep who will run towards the rosette. So it's a bit of an odd. It's a very flawed game, that one. I don't know why they keep using it.
I like that game. I don't know what you don't like about it.
But why do they keep using it?
I think it's fun and I love it.
Can't they have dogs instead or cats one day?
But they haven't played a game yet either where people kind of answer questions about other people.
That was
like
in
they have
UK
in the UK
America,
version.
wasn't it? Yeah.
But that was a good game because it made people kind of like it distracted the status quo a little bit, where people felt like they were above the group. They kind of felt more arrogant. And
that's more of a game you play at the beginning, I feel. It's more helpful at the beginning.
I'll be up for that game though if they played a game similar.
We're not
to
many
that.
episodes left of this now. 4 left. We're over halfway.
I know it's such
Even
a
Paul said the end is in sight. He's waiting for his paycheck
yeah. Paul's like, oh god, when does
and
this
his
end?
contract.
when can I go home? You are home, Paul. This is your land.
Yeah, so that was the game. They won all the money. There was not much to say about it. They were chasing sheep. Very cute. Not much poo anywhere.
A few mint
Clean
sauce
field.
references.
Yeah, Paul's going to kill the sheep and eat them.
Yeah, that's nice.
And not
thought.
share them just for himself.
Yeah. He's going to eat them all.
Nice glass of wine.
Red wine you normally have with lamb, I believe.
That was Soup Paul from last week, wasn't it? It was barrels of red wine.
Yes, that's
If
why
there's
he
any
ordered
left.
so much. That's why he ordered so much. Gosh.
Planning quite the feast, isn't he? Do you think in the next episode there'll be like a lamb challenge with glasses of wine? It's like, these are from your previous challenges.
Match the lamb to the wine.
Right, so then they had more chats before banishment.
Get more Dylan, really. Dylan kind of kept throwing more theories out there.
There were people, I think Anna was wanting to do the King's route, and then everyone kind of went off that as the day went on, apart from Anna, because she still voted for Kings in the end.
Yeah, she was the only one who voted for Kings at the end.
No one else stuck to her
Poor
game.
Anna.
I think Julia messed that up a bit, because they all went to the Robbie train.
Well, I do think that a majority of them don't think there's enough on Kings to kind of systematically blame him for something. Yeah. While with
They
Robbie,
asked him
there
to
was a
explain
lot.
himself, didn't they?
Yeah, and he didn't really.
That was his game plan, he said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not protest too much, otherwise it makes you look like a traitor.
Well, he kind of also pointed the finger back at Robbie then as well, though, and again that's where the kind of the momentum began for Robbie. And like we said at the top of this episode, there was enough to point a finger at Robbie. There was enough there, and I think
She didn't help herself.
Colin did something, and I can't remember what it was now. But Colin did something, and I can't remember. Was it he asked Dan what he was thinking, and Dan was kind of a bit
didn't
like,
say.
yeah, Dan was like, oh, I don't know.
He said, "You're always quiet."
We were quieter this round table. You normally have something to say.
Dan's sneaky, but he's going to have to start. He keeps missing, dodging the bullet somehow, but he's going to come undone soon, I feel, because he really is playing a low-level game the whole time.
But he's not really throwing any theories out there. He just follows what the crowd say, while Brooke is kind of bringing up ideas. I mean, the most vocal now in the game is probably Colin, Brooke, and Dylan. Let's be honest. They keep saying Justine has a lot of influence. I don't know where this is coming from.
I think when Justine says stuff, people listen to her. She's
Right.
very nice head teacher vibes of a boarding school.
Right.
I think that's. I'd listen to Justine.
She reminds
She's
me.
very she comes across as very honest. Like what she says is
She's straight to the point.
Yeah, she means it.
Yeah, she won't kind of bend around what she thinks, but she does it in a kind of not in a nasty way. She does it in a very diplomatic manner. I think that's the problem for Anna. I don't think Anna's quite got the group behind her to kind of push Kings and her theory forward. I mean, if she could convince,
if she had a reason, that could help.
yeah, true. If she could convince Brooke,
It's just a feeling. They just want to get rid of the men. I don't blame them.
yeah,
I'd be
fair
like
enough.
that too.
The women are teaming up.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
the women need to stop voting for themselves. Do you think if Anna kind of convinced Brooke, because Brooke kind of got on the King's train as well when it was Anna, Justine, Julia, and Brooke were talking.
It's anyone but him and Dan, basically, is what Brooke's on.
But Brooke warned Kings, so that's why Kings knew that this was what was happening at the round table.
No, you can't trust. Brooke and Dan are very untrustworthy.
But again, they seem to get away with it. Like, no, why did Kings not say, "Oh, Brooke mentioned to me that"? Because then that would have kind of made Anna. Then
That's why I think that Dan's going to get away with the death stare from Robbie that she gave him when he voted.
Yeah, because
for
Anna's the one who saw it.
I didn't see her wink though. Dan kept saying she winked.
She did. It was one of those. Yeah, it's
more of a blink. Than a wink.
You know how some people can't wink properly.
She should have winked on the side of her face, facing towards the gold bars in the centre, so more people would have seen.
She should have over-exaggerated it.
I think she winked with her other eye, which was facing towards the wall, so no one saw it apart from Dan.
It's like the episode of Arrested Development when the mum winks and like everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And she's just doing this really kind of weird wink at people. It's like wink murder. Yeah, you're right. She should have exaggerated it a little bit more. But she should have written the name down.
She should have written Dan's name.
She's an idiot for that as well.
Sorry,
Robbie.
Because she comes out and says, "I'm a traitor to everyone," but she's put Julia's name down.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's stupid. She should have written Dan's name down and stared at him, winked on the right side of her face so maximum people could have seen.
Okay.
And
Keep going.
she
I'm
could
enjoying this.
And she could have continued to stare at him the whole time until it ended.
So Robbie's game
Non-stop,
plan,
like Paddington Bear would have.
Yes, and lifted her hat as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
did you see that in one of the bits to camera? What are they called when the contestants talk to camera?
Aren't they called like pieces to camera? Aren't they called like vox pops or
something like that? In one of them, Sam was speaking right at the beginning, and he was wearing Brooke's hat, his big round hat.
Was he?
And then he never wore it again for the rest of the episode. What was going on there?
Maybe that's a clue to what the cliffhanger is at the end of the episode. Maybe Sam got lost to his room. Just walked into the traitor tower. He's like, "All right, guys, sorry, I didn't realise. You're now a traitor."
Maybe. But I thought that was very odd. But it was only for one little thing. And then the next time we saw Sam, he didn't have a hat on.
Oh,
but it was Brooke's hat that he was wearing around the round table.
Oh,
the
you honestly
big
didn't
grey
spot
Indiana
that.
Jones one. So that was odd.
Maybe it was a challenge or a task. Because you can mix. Well, maybe
they made a bit of fun with each other. You mean?
No, like maybe Brooke and Dan was told that they had to put an item of they had to put an item of their clothing on someone who they want to.
Oh,
what do they call it? Oh my god! I just realised. Put them on
or whatever.
No, they've done it in other series.
Yes, hangman, not hangman.
Put them on the chopping block. Wasn't the chopping
Execution,
block?
something like that. It's something along those
lines. They choose 3 people.
Yes.
And they basically declare that those 3 people are now being watched by the traitors and one of them will be murdered. So maybe that's what they did. They put...
they've used the wrong VT bit by accident.
Maybe. They just done a bad edit.
Rookie editing mistake.
Oh, damn them.
Maybe it's one of those...
I think I'm throwing... out
yeah, I mean, it's a bit odd, the thing at the end, because normally the twist or someone knocks at the door comes before they've chosen who to murder, but they'd written the murder down and stamped it, and then they knock at the door. Has someone quit the show? I wonder.
Well, the only one who I thought could quit was Robbie.
She's gone.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So,
well, someone else could have quit for any reason. You don't know. I'm just wondering.
I wonder if
odd.
they have to... This is the twist now we're talking about, what we theorised that the twist could be. I wonder if they're now told that person that they said they were going to murder actually now has to be recruited as a traitor. And they have
that's the final 3 traitors. Until the end.
So they don't have a choice on who they've recruited. And
why would they wait to knock on the door until after they've
Because they don't
Done
have
the
the
murder
choice.
thing.
Because they would then choose someone who they were gonna murder,
Right.
who now has to be a traitor. So in a weird way, the power has been taken out of Brooke and Dan's hands because they have not been able to choose someone who they perhaps would think was a stronger candidate.
Yeah.
Or do a Robbie too.
Okay. So that means in that theory, then Anna, Colin,
Anna, Colin,
Anna,
Anna, Dylan, and Justine.
Yeah, will be. So it will be Dylan will be the traitor because he's a man.
No, because they've already written down who they were going to murder.
Yeah, of course.
So
I'll upset them.
Well, with that's what I'm saying. A woman in the midst.
No women are allowed in this tower. We invited one in and got rid of her very fast.
Maybe that's why they've done it then. Oh, I wonder if it is actually going on that theory. I wonder if, because at the top of the show as well, there was a bit that they put in where Brooke asked the whole group at the breakfast table, if you were recruited, who here would say yes? And Justine, who's on the list to be murdered, said, "Oh, I would have to think about it."
Yeah.
But she wouldn't be able to think about it. If she was told she had to be a traitor, then she would have to be, and so that's it. That's what I figure it's going to happen.
So you think the person they've written down to be murder
is Justine,
has to be a traitor?
But now they've been told, and the person who's been murdered, who I believe is Justin, is being told that they have to become. There's no choice. They have to become a traitor,
and that's the final 3 traitors.
And they're the final 3.
How many episodes are there left? 4 episodes.
4, but the final episode is always the last round table. They might do the fire on the New Zealand series, like they did in the UK and the American series. So. That's good, that. When they have the powders and they go...
Paul gets his 2 glasses of gin. 1 pink for Camp Paul.
They could throw like glasses of gin into the mantle fire, and that could then light up the different colours.
Oh gosh!
So that's
final already. Yeah, that could make sense. Maybe they're recruiting the final traitor, and that's it.
That's my theory. Do you have a theory?
My theory was that someone has quit the show and they're like, so there's no murder, but I don't know.
That's dull, though.
Why
would they make that cliffhanger?
I know, but I just don't understand why they let them write down the murder and then knock on the door.
Because it's blindsided them.
I know what you've said, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? The people who are listening to this podcast right now could throw their theories what the cliffhanger's about. You have a week now to get in touch with us. We could read them out at the top of the next episode before we then discuss what actually the twist was. I'm excited about it. When they did this twist at the end of the episode, I was very, very excited. But what are your theories, listeners, pop pickers? Get in touch with us,
faithfuls,
on X/Twitter.
Stop calling it X.
It is X now. There's no
denying it. Did you know that if you post
a
link to it on a website, it doesn't work with x.com, but if you change the word X to Twitter, it then posts a link. So even...
Nice one, Elon.
Even, I don't know what the word is, the coding world agree that it's Twitter, not X.
It's just that...
And also, did you know that an app can't be called 1 letter on the App Store? It needs to be minimum 2 letters. And this is called X.
Isn't he changing it to X.com?
What, he's going to call the...
I guess so.
That's like something from 2001. X.com.
Well, don't get me wrong.
Like
I'm not defending that
prat,
but I'm just saying.
Okay.
So if you want to tweet...
Sorry, carry on, yes.
Sorry, not tweet, message. I don't know what they call it anymore. They don't call it retweets anymore either. It's reposts.
Just ignore him.
Very
We're
confusing.
dead naming the whole thing.
Twitter, @Traitors Podcast. Instagram, @Faithful to the Traitors. Or faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. What is your theory? What do you think the big cliffhanger is at the end? And if you think I'm right, start your message with, I think Alex was right.
Well, no one will read the email out then, will they?
As we say, you can also help fund the podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
The brilliant
Faithful to the Traitors.
Oh, now you see, this is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
This stuff ain't cheap, you know?
If you want to comment, if you're listening to this and you enjoy the podcast and you want to comment to say on your podcast, what you're listening to the podcast on, so Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you message and put, it's fascinating, simply fascinating, then we will read your name out on the show. There you go. 5 stars.
And we keep things fresh right to the end of the episode, so you have to listen right to the end.
I was a traitor! See you in hell!
Just don't know what you're going to get, so you can't turn off.
It's a roller coaster of a
Until
podcast.
You hear that outro music. So there you go. That was another episode of Faithful to the Traitors New Zealand, and we will be back again next week to find out what that big twist in Paul's pants was.